All right, welcome to tonight's Spinal Health and Wellness class. Feel free to ask any questions as we move along. This is a little bit about myself. I'm a ScoliBrace certified provider. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm an intensive care certified clear scoliosis doctor. I was named a fellow of the Palmer College of Chiropractic Academy. I've been named the best chiropractor in St. Augustine a few times. In 1995, I became a chiropractic neurologist, which is a special program that you go to school after chiropractic school in neurology. And I've been active in other things in the community. What do you think the USA is ranked today in overall health compared to 200 other countries?
Very poor.
Any guesses?
190.
Okay, not that bad. 37. Would you agree we should be a lot better than that?
Yes.
Right? These are two easy ways to get better, right? Stay away from the musketeers and the hamburgers. What do you think we are ranked in the world in infant mortality?
I heard this, but I don't remember. Do you remember it? It's pretty high.
52nd. So we have a great medical system, meaning if you get hit by a car, you want to be in the United States, right? We have a great emergency medical system, but our healthcare system is not that good, meaning it's more of a disease system than a health system. And birth is already something that's perfect, doesn't need a lot of intervention. So the interventions a lot of times cause problems.
Okay.
Over 1 million mothers, daughters, fathers, and sons will die from heart disease and cancer this year. Would you agree we need to make some major changes to how we approach our health?
Yes.
So there's 5 attitudes that prevent us from being healthy. It's out of my control, it's normal to get sick, disease makes us sick, only see the doctor when you're sick, and it's expensive to be healthy. These 5 attitudes prevent us from being healthy. First attitude is my health is out of my control. Joanne, just blame it on your parents, right? But you can't do that. Only 1% or less of all diseases are related to genetics. Health is simply the result of healthy habits. The things that you do every day, those little things every day, day in and day out, are what make you healthy. Are drugs the answer to many of these problems? Well, the United States consumes more drugs than any other country in the world, yet we're ranked 37th. So if the answer were drugs, we'd be ranked number 1. Prevention versus crisis. If you buy a car, drive it as hard as you can, never change the oil, never do any maintenance, eventually that car is going to blow up. Now, if it blows up in front of a new car dealership, you can walk out of that car and get into a brand new one and drive off and everything's good. The problem is you can't do that with your body. If you don't take care of it, you don't have anywhere else to live, you're stuck with it, right? So you got to take care of it. So the answer is prevention. What are symptoms? Symptoms are merely the result of the body being out of balance and alerting you to a problem within. Symptoms serve as a warning that something needs to be explored and changed in one's life. Illness is a message, Dennis Jaffe, PhD. So if the fire alarm goes off, you wouldn't cut the wire to the fire alarm. You would find out what the cause of it and then deal with that. So when we medicate, when we get injections, we're just covering up the reason. You know, if a patient gets into a shot of steroids, they're probably going to feel better, right? But it doesn't mean they got to the cause of the problem. And like many drugs, there's going to be side effects.
Yes.
So every time you take a steroid, it suppresses your immune system, causes osteoporosis, causes further spinal degeneration. Okay. So it gets you out of the moment, but long term, it's going to lead to bigger problems. Second attitude is it's normal to get sick. Well, it's not normal to get sick.
Okay.
Is it the seed or the soil? Well, the seed is like your genetic potential, and the soil is like your environment. So it takes both to be healthy. So we want to work on it from the inside out. It's normal to be healthy. Now, you can have symptoms, which are healthy symptoms. So if you have a fever, is that good or bad, Julian?
It's good.
It's good. Your body's elevating the temperature to fight off the infection, it's handling it on its own. If you take something to suppress the fever, then the problem is going to linger on and you're going to have to deal with it in some other way. Third attitude, disease makes us sick. Disease is lack of harmony inside the body. We see the word disease there because Hippocrates talked about the first step to sickness is dis-ease, loss of ease in the body. So when there's imbalance, tension, that's the beginning of disease. Doesn't mean you have symptoms or sickness. It means you're heading that way. So we want to take care of that early on so that doesn't happen. We spend billions of dollars a year studying disease and virtually nothing on health. How life begins. 2 weeks after fertilization, the primitive streak is created. This will become the central nervous system, the master system, controlling every cell, tissue, and organ in the body. So the cells divide, and look what one of the first things that's created is the spinal cord, and then everything grows off of that. So that inside out development and healing, it's something that was there from the beginning. It always will be there. If you cut a muscle, the muscle will heal. But if you cut a nerve, that muscle will never heal.
Okay.
In utero, we have this fetal curve. This is important. We're going to talk about curves of the spine later. You should retain as an adult the mid-back curve or the thoracic curve. Then at 3 months, tummy time, the baby's lifting the head up. That's developing the cervical curve. And then when they crawl, 6 to 12 months, that's when they develop the lumbar curve. So many scoliosis patients, the parents will say they went straight from scooting to running. So they missed developmental stages. They're more likely to have learning disabilities than scoliosis because they changed the way the nervous system developed. Defense against germs. There's no magic bullet, instant gratification, or miracle cure against viruses and bacteria. There's only increased internal resistance from hard work, nutrition, exercise, rest, positive mental attitude. So if we have an ear infection and we take antibiotics, we know there's a 10-time higher reoccurrence rate for ear infections. If the body handles it and heals that ear infection, then the odds of you getting another infection are not good. You probably won't get one. The CNS controls the other 5 systems in the human body. The glandular system, elimination system, digestive system, muscular system, circulatory system. So whether through a direct nerve or through a hormone created by a direct nerve, everything is under control of the central nervous system. So we have this brain, spinal cord, the nerves, they control everything in the body. Gray's Anatomy states the central nervous system controls and coordinates every other cell, tissue, and organ in the body. Your body is 98% new every year. So if we cut ourselves in the garden and we don't have time to put a Band-Aid on it, we go shower up, it's not bleeding, and then we look at that cut 2 weeks later, it's gone, right? Your body's constantly doing this regenerating and healing all the time. Over a 3 to 7 year period of time, all the cells in your body are replaced. So whether you have a spur on an x-ray, cancer, those aren't the same cells that were there before. They may have recreated in the same way, but they're not the cells that were there before. Your body's replacing itself all the time. John, do you still have to get a haircut?
Sure.
Okay. Do you have to clip your nails?
Yep.
All right. Your body's pushing out new cells, right? You just want to make sure they're the best ones possible. Is the body regenerating or degenerating? So if we focus on regeneration, Joanne, guess what we get?
Healthy.
Healthy regeneration. Guidance physiology states the autonomic nervous system is the major system controlling the mechanisms of homeostasis. Homeostasis is your body's ability to adapt to an environment, and that's what health is. So we get a challenge, your body adapts to it, it stays healthy. When you can't adapt is where you get sick, right? You're sick and it just lingers on. The body doesn't get you healthy. And we see this with COVID. You know, if the person has an ability to adapt and they get exposed to something, the body fights it and knows what to do. If we don't have homeostasis and we get into a situation where our body has to fight, then it can't do it, then we're in trouble. There's a really interesting study when COVID started. They looked at vitamin D levels, and the people that in China that got the initial COVID that had high vitamin D levels, they got COVID and walked out of the hospital. The ones that had low vitamin D levels, they didn't make it out of the hospital. It was really interesting. A lot of study on this. So those levels were part of a healthy body, and so they fought the infection. When they had poor vitamin D, they didn't have the ability to fight.
Okay.
Subluxation, we see the word silent degeneration because 90% of your nervous system has to do with controlling your organs, your breathing, your muscles. Only 10% has to do with pain. So you can have a lot of things go wrong with your body without ever feeling pain.
Okay.
So that's why we see the word silent decay. When we feel the pain, that means something's been going on for a while. Your body is like a garden. With proper raw materials and no interference, you will regenerate and be healthy. Healing takes time. So in this garden, the hose is like the spinal cord, the nerves is like the sprinkler, the flowers are like your organs. So this is a healthy garden. If you get a rock on the hose, then the spinal cord's blocked, the nerve roots are blocked, and then the organs or the flowers are going to die. If we take the rock off the hose, then the water flow comes back to the organs, we heal and regenerate. It's a sunny day again, right? So that's why we want to, like Joanne said, we want to focus on regeneration. That keeps us healthy. Subluxations distort the structure of the spine, reducing and eliminating curves, therefore altering the biomechanics of the spine. Research shows when this happens, you create a degenerative process that always goes to completion. So if you have a curve, it makes things stronger. So if your head's forward and you have a loss of curve, your spine will degenerate. If you have the right alignment, then there's less chance that things are going to degenerate. This is a famous study called the Windsor autopsies, and they looked at misalignments or subluxation and degeneration. All age groups exhibited multiple pinched nerves. Organs supplied by pinched nerves revealed pathological changes. The more serious the pinched nerve, the more serious the organ damage. So when they looked at the pinched nerve, the worse the pressure, then they traced that nerve to the organ, that organ was dying. What's the answer? Adjust the subluxation and allow the body to regenerate. Why do you go to chiropractor? To get adjusted, correcting and preventing subluxations. What are subluxations? That's a bone out of place interfering with the nerve. Degenerating spine. This patient came in with neck pain, shoulder pain, mid-back pain, low back pain, numbness, tingling down the left arm, depression, migraines, high blood pressure, anxiety, insomnia, tinnitus, and acid reflux. Work had become difficult. They no longer could hike or walk due to pain. They rate quality of life as 3 out of 10. They're on Oxycontin and blood pressure medication. They received their first chiropractic adjustment at age 52 when this x-ray was taken. The head is forward. They have a reverse curve. That's going to put pressure on the spinal cord. It's causing disc degeneration, bone spurs. So they've had a lot of pressure there for a long time, and they have a lot of symptoms, and they're covering it up with medication.
Okay.
This patient has a healthy spine, no pain or condition, works full time, walks 2 miles every day pain-free, rates quality of life 10 out of 10. They're on no medication. They do take Chlorella, which is a compressed algae with all your vitamins, minerals, and protein in it. Causes alkalinity, helps get your body to get rid of toxins. They've received chiropractic care since the age 26, and they've had a maintenance care adjustment every month, and now they're age 55. So they're 3 years older than the previous patient, yet they don't have any symptoms and they have a much higher quality of life. Their head is not as far forward. They have a better curve in the neck, no degeneration of the disc or the bones, relaxed spinal cord, no tension on the spinal cord, so their brain can talk to their body, keep the body healthy. So wherever we're at, we want to work toward being a healthier spine. That's where health comes from. This patient came in 12 years old, chronic migraines. She'd been to medical neurologists, had MRIs, CAT scans. The only thing they could do for her was give her migraine medication. Her head was forward. Every inch your head's forward, it feels like it weighs another 10 pounds. So her apparent head weight was 30 or 40 pounds. The skull and the first cervical should be parallel. You can see how the skull's rocked back like this. That's going to cause pressure on the spinal cord, brainstem. She has a complete reversal of the cervical curve. That's going to traction the spinal cord, put pressure on the brainstem up in here. It's going to cause direct brainstem pressure, which can cause migraines, as well as change the blood flow to the head. She went under 2 months of care. On her follow-up x-ray, C1 and occiput are parallel. The forwardness of the head is reduced 90%, has a proper curve in the neck. Everything's relaxed in here now. She's no longer taking migraine medication, no longer missing any school because of migraines. I think we found the cause of her problem. There's a
short amount of time too.
Yeah, there's a more detailed video about this case on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. This is my now 16-year-old, and when she was 9 years old, we discovered that she had scoliosis. And her first x-ray was 9/12. She went under care and the curve reduced 3 to 16. That was 1 year later. 2 years later, 4 and 10. Now, when we look at her upper neck, you can see when the scoliosis developed, that upper neck was way out of alignment here. Can you see that? And then it got better, and then it even got better. So the upper neck is the control center. So there's a big relationship between this alignment and having scoliosis. So as the upper neck alignment got better, the scoliosis got better. This is an adult with scoliosis. Her initial x-ray was 24/12. The follow-up was 12/9. So had about a 50% reduction in the upper curve, 30% in the lower curve. This is a 12-year-old that got into a car accident. Her neck was way out of alignment. We did some specific adjusting. We noticed she had an immediate posture improvement and her leg check looked better. So we retook the x-ray, and 3 days later, she looked really good. So if she would have been left like this for her whole life, she would have had a lifelong issues, problems that developed from this.
Okay.
This is a 9-year-old who came in complete reversal of the lumbar curve. So when I was in chiropractic school, we never saw this. But with the gaming and texting, people are not in their normal posture. So normally a kid would be running around the neighborhood, looking up, playing games, they're like this all the time. But now with the gaming, phone, they're losing this lumbar curve. So he comes in, we undergo 12 visits over a month, and you can see we restored that lumbar curve. Again, this was going to cause a lot of spinal cord degeneration. And there's going to be a lot more spinal degeneration today than ever because of this loss of function. I found out recently the average human, to be healthy, should be walking 12 miles a day. Genetically, that's how we're built and designed. So when we look at even a kid running around the neighborhood and now they're gaming, they're losing all that development, all that nervous system activity.
Okay.
So our answer for that is a compromise is, well, you can tell a kid to game, but you're going to sit on a yoga ball. The TV screen is going to be eye level or higher, and then they're going to be like this, but it's going to cause them to move around. Or they could be standing on an air disc doing the same thing. So as they're gaming, they're looking up like this. So we give them things like that to encourage them to do their exercises. This is a medical doctor in South Carolina's daughter. You can see she had a significant curve when she first came in. And this is a follow-up 6 months later. You can see she's looking a lot better. And this was a younger patient, I think about 8 years old. Scoliosis actually resolved. So when you work on people before puberty, it's much easier to make a correction. When puberty kicks in, it actually changes the development of the bones and makes it harder to correct. So if we can correct scoliosis before puberty, it's very important. Our specialized scoliosis treatment for scoliosis patients, we used wobble chair exercise to bring back ligament, tendon, and disc function, cervical repeat traction to bring the head back over the shoulders and the curve in the neck. Eckert table helps to loosen up the disc. Cervical vibratory traction helps with the cervical curve, head back over the shoulders, the disc. Core stem helps to balance the muscles. The weaker muscles on the inside of the curve, it gets them to contract, relaxes the one on the outside of the curve, and it gets lactic acid or toxins out of the muscles. Mechanical drop helps with rib deformation, especially in the thoracic spine, helps your breathing. So scoliosis in the upper spine affects more your heart and lungs, lower spine digestion. Personally, with my scoliosis, when I do this, it really helps my breathing a lot. I'll feel like pure oxygen is coming into my lungs while I'm doing this. We do the specific chiropractic adjustment. We find that most scoliosis patients have ligament damage in their neck, so we do less manual adjusting on those patients and more instrument adjusting. Cervical kyphosis, we showed you that picture earlier of the fetal curve.
Mm-hmm.
This is helping to develop that. Many scoliosis patients are flat in the middle back. This helps to regain that kyphosis. Scoliosis traction share, this was a big breakthrough in helping scoliosis patients because most exercise makes scoliosis worse. When you're in the chair, you're placed in a mirror image of your curve, and the chair vibrates at a frequency to get the brain to hold everything in alignment.
Okay.
And then the last thing we do to get the curve to hold is what we call spinal weighting. Spinal weighting is specific weighting based on your x-ray to get your brain to correct your spine. So if your head's forward like this and we put a weight here, your head will come back like this and your brain will help to make the correction. We use those same principles from the front view with scoliosis patients. And then we'll confirm that this is working on x-ray, and then they'll do those same exercises at home.
Yeah.
ScoliBrace, the future of scoliosis bracing, and Over Corrective ScoliOsis Brace. Most scoliosis braces medically are like a tube, and it's just squeezing the spine, preventing the curve from getting worse. The ScoliBrace is an over corrective brace. So if your scoliosis has you this way, it's holding you this way. It's a mirror image of the curve. So when we work with patients that are adolescent or younger, the brace can actually use the bone development in the favor of the patient to help to get the bone to develop properly. So we do a structural scan of the body, it creates a hologram, and then we send that hologram to Australia to ScoliBrace with the posture pictures and x-rays, and then they develop the 3D overcorrective brace for the individual patient. It Velcros so they can put it on themselves. There's holes for ventilation. They can move in the direction of the correction, but not in the direction that makes it worse. This is a case of an adolescent patient. She had a 33-degree curve, went down to 11, and then 6 degrees over 12 months. You can see the postural reversing with the brace on, and then the posture correction here. This is a 25-year-old in their ScoliBrace, and it takes their 64-degree curve to 39 while they're in the brace. They feel a lot better when they're wearing the brace.
Mm-hmm.
We also use the ScoliBrace for adults. Many painful conditions can be helped with the brace. So in children, we're trying to get as much correction as we can. In adults, we still may get some correction, but a lot of it is lifestyle. They feel better when they wear the brace. and it prevents the scoliosis from getting worse. Waiting is dangerous. Our goal is to keep you healthy and avoid surgery. The problem with surgery is you never know what the result is going to be. The side effects from medication, also side effects from surgery. We want to avoid that. How do we get a subluxation? Thoughts, trauma, toxins. There's things in the body called visceral somatic reflex. So when you stress an organ, it'll pull the spine out of alignment. So just when we have a stressful day, that can pull us out of alignment. Obviously, when we get trauma or we do something physical, it's easy to visualize how that can get you out of alignment. And then toxins. When our body's over-toxified, the kidney and the liver are working too hard, that can pull things out of alignment also. The original subluxation. Birth, even if you do everything perfectly, natural childbirth, it's still one of the most traumatic things that will ever happen to us. And it's done like that purposely. In our neurology program, they talked about how the brain and the head going through the birth canal is like a click-on switch. It's telling the baby, hey, it's time to breathe now. It's time to go to the bathroom. It's time to nurse. And so when people have a vaginal birth, naturally, they're much more likely to breastfeed right away, have bowel movements right away, their eyes are opening sooner, they're going to be more interactive because they got that stimulation without medication. And so they're much more vibrant as soon as they're born, but it still can cause trauma to the neck. And so this is showing a medical birth. This video, this is actually a slide from a video developed by the Department of Navy, teaching Navy doctors how to deliver babies. Do you notice anything?
Pulling on the neck.
They're pulling on the neck. And then if they have trouble getting the baby out, they'll hold a shoulder. So it's easy to see how with a medical birth, you could get out of alignment. With a natural birth, there's no reason to touch the head because you're waiting for the baby to come out. You don't encourage the delivery before the baby's ready to come out.
Okay.
And so that prevents a lot of traumatic. When you have a birth based on the doctor's golf schedule, then you're going to have not as good of a birth, okay? Forceps definitely are going to cause problems. Some people will say the baby was born cesarean, so there was no trauma. But there still can be trauma to the baby with cesarean. They can be trying to limit the incision size. The baby could have already dropped partially into the canal. They're pulling it out. So that doesn't mean there wasn't trauma. The cause of all disease is your body's inability to regenerate. Balance equals health. When you're in balance physically, chemically, and emotionally, you will be healthy. Fourth attitude, only go to the doctor when you're sick, and you better have insurance. Well, it's better to go to the doctor when you're healthy, and then you won't need insurance. So by staying in alignment, keeping the brain talking to the body, it's going to be your best chance to stay healthy. Fifth attitude, it costs money to be healthy. That is true, however, it costs a lot more money to be sick. 50% of all bankruptcies are caused by medical bills. So if you're out of work and you have piling medical bills, that's not a good scenario. It should be a good motivator to eat right and do your exercises. Prevention makes more sense. Take care of your incredible body. In the state of Florida, we have an unusual auto insurance law. I know you guys are from out of Florida. In the state of Florida, if you're in an accident, you have 2 weeks to get to the doctor, and then they examine you relating to the car accident. The doctor must put in their notes that it is an emergency medical condition. If they don't do that, your auto insurance will not pay for you to go to the doctor. Now, there's some unusual symptoms that people can have from an accident that they don't necessarily associate with the accident. And those can be tingling and numbness, nausea, dizziness, jaw trouble, difficulty concentrating, insomnia, ringing in the ears, lightheadedness. So somebody must just be at work and they just can't get as much done as they were getting done before the accident. And they don't really know that it's related to the accident. So it's important to get checked within that 2-week window. Make sure the doctor puts in his notes, emergency medical condition. You must see a doctor within 14 days of your car accident in order for PIP car accident insurance to pay for your any accident-related health care. Accident equals checkup. 3 phases of chiropractic care. The first phase is relief care. We want you to be feeling better as quickly as possible. If you're not feeling better, you're not happy, right? So the important thing is get feeling better ASAP. That may consist of daily treatment for a week or 2. Phase 2, corrective care. This is where we're correcting the spine as close to normal as possible. This could consist of twice-a-day treatments where we have intensive care people coming from other states and country into the office for a week or 2, or it could be 3 times a week care for 2 to 12 weeks. Phase 3 is preventative care. Our goal is for everybody to get checked once a month. We talked about how symptoms are a bad way to judge whether you're healthy or not. 90% of the nervous system controls all your bodily function, only 10% controls pain. So if we're only waiting till we hurt to get adjusted, there's a lot of disease process going on and we're not doing prevention. Okay. So prevention is once a week or once a month for life. The neck bone brings the head over the shoulders and forward lordotic curve into the neck. So most people are sleeping like this. The neck bone allows you to sleep like this, and that's the best position to sleep. These are prism glasses and allows you to see this way. So you're looking here, but you're seeing here. So if you like to read in bed, watch TV in bed, use your iPad, that's a way of protecting your neck while you're doing those things. An ounce of prevention is a pound of cure. This baby came in with infantile torticollis. So their head was tipped one way, turned the other. They were going to do surgery where they're going to cut the sternocleidomastoid muscle. That was the answer. The mother brought the baby into the office. Within a few weeks, he was doing great. You can see she's happy, and the baby's enjoying adjustment. This is the tummy time we were talking about. You can see the baby's lifting the head up. So in the 3 to 6 month time period is when you develop that cervical curve. So genetically and architecturally, as your body develops, it's very important to do a lot of tummy time, getting the baby to develop that cervical curve. Otherwise, they miss that learning step, and it can cause a lot of problems down the road. Prevention starts at an early age. This is a baby that I'm checking the week after birth. It's the best time to get checked. It's a very gentle adjustment. Help us help others. Why suffer? Waiting is dangerous. When you find that we've helped you out, if you let other people know, we'd appreciate it. That's how most people find us. And if you're really happy, you can write a Google review. And today, that's the best form of advertising and sharing how you're doing. The more specific you are about your condition and how you got better in your Google review, the better, because somebody else might have your exact condition and they'll say, hey, that sounds just like what I had, and they're more likely to take some action on it. And then we have some special patients that have actually done video testimonials for us. Okay. And so if you're really inspired and feel like you have a special story, we'd be glad to set up a time to do that for you. And if you go on our website, you can see some of the videos that we've done. If you ever have any questions or concerns about your health, set up a special consultation in the office so I have plenty of time to answer all your questions. And the best way to ensure that I'm able to give you time to listen is to set up that special appointment. So if you need any extra time, set that appointment up. Spread the word. Chiropractic works. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions at all?
I do.